Hi, friends. This is the writing lesson for second grade. Today, we are going to start a new personal narrative writing piece. So, I'm going to walk you through the steps and kind of guide you through how to fill out your graphic organizer. But you should be getting pretty good at these because we are almost at the end of the year. So, you should know how to fill this out. But I want you to please watch this video to make sure that you get every piece that you need. Before I start writing anything, I want to tell you my story just so you can get a feel for what I'm going to be including in my brainstorm. So last summer, when I was in Truckee, which is right by Lake Tahoe, my family and I was with my husband and my kids, and then my husband's sister and my husband's mom. And we were all just eating dinner. And in their backyard, they have like a big open space. And so we were just eating dinner, and the door was open because it was nice outside. And all of a sudden, my husband says, "Mom, close the door." And he yells it. And we were all like, "What? What's happening?" So my mother-in-law, my husband's mom, tried to close her door, but her chair was in the way. So my sister-in-law, my husband's sister that was sitting next to her, pushed her out of her chair and moved her chair so we could close the door. But nobody really knew what was going on. And then, except for my husband, who said, "Mom, close the door." And then all of a sudden, we see this mama bear and baby bear walking through their backyard. And it was so cool, but also bears can be scary. So we had to make sure the door got closed because the dogs were in the house, the kids were in the house. And the mama and the baby bear just kind of walked through their yard, kind of looking around and just kept on going. So this is my seed story, my one little piece of my vacation from last year. So that's what I'm going to talk about and write about for this narrative writing. So I'm going to show you now that you know the story, how I'm going to fill out my graphic organizer. So if you want to pause the video and think about what story you are going to write about, you can do that. Or you can go through and watch what I do and then go do your brainstorm. So make sure you have this paper in front of you. If you don't have one of these, they are posted on Canvas. You can print one out, but you should have some extra left over from your distribution. So the very first thing you want to do is, of course, write your name at the top. That way, when you turn it in, I know exactly whose paper it is. And now for my topic, I'm just going to write "seeing a bear." And I don't really like the way that sounds for my title. So I will probably choose a different title when I actually start writing. But my topic is about seeing a bear. That's what my seed story is about. Now, remember, feel free to pause the video at any time to work on your own writing. Okay, so we are going to start with a question. Now, for my question, I want to know, has anyone else ever seen a bear in the wild? Like at the zoo, it's a little bit different, right? So my hook, my lead is going to be, have you, make sure you start with a capital, ever seen a bear in the wild? And make sure you end with that question mark. So my hook is designed to say, maybe people will think, "Oh yeah, I've seen a bear," or "No, I haven't. What is Mrs. Peterson going to tell us?" Then for my topic sentence, remember, a topic sentence kind of tells your reader what you're going to be writing about. You want to say, who was there? What happened? when it happened, and depending on your story, sometimes you include where. So you can use a similar layout to my hook. So I'm going to say, I always start with when. So I'm going to say last summer. And you always want to put your comma right after that time order phrase. I'm going to say, I saw actually not a, because it was not just one bear. 2 black bears. That was the type of bear they were. In Truckee. So that tells where I was with my family. Now, I could stop right there. Last summer, I saw 2 black bears in Truckee with my family, but I'm going to get more specific, and I'm going to say, while we were eating dinner. Barely fit. Okay, so there is my hook, or my topic sentence, sorry. I said, who was there? So my family. What happened? I saw 2 black bears. When? Last summer. And where? In Truckee. Okay, now I always like to do my topic sentence and my closing sentence together. So I'm going to skip down to the bottom and I'm going to say my closing sentence. How did I feel? What did I think about this situation? Well, let me tell you, it was super cool. So I'm going to start by saying it was so cool seeing, not A again, 2 black bears in the wild. And then you always want to do something like, I can't wait to do it again, or I wonder what will happen next. Something like that. I'm going to say, since I'm going back to Truckee this summer, I'm going to say, I wonder if I will see any bears this summer. Oh, barely fit it again. So your closing sentence is, how did you feel? I said, I thought it was very cool. And now I'm wondering, am I going to see any next time? Okay, now for your details. Remember, the details, you don't have to write a lot. You just want to make sure, do you have enough to write your story? So my first big part, because this is the first thing that happened, is my husband yelled at his mom, Mom, close the door. Okay, so I'm going to say Matt, that's my husband's name. Yelled. And we are going to do a dialogue lesson next week. So if you want to include some kind of dialogue, you can, and you will learn how to use the punctuation marks next week. Mom, close the door. And then the next thing that happened was my mother-in-law, her name's Margaret, She tried to move her chair, or she tried to close the door, but her chair was in the way. So then my sister-in-law pushed her out of her chair so she could close the door. Okay, so Margaret's chair was in the way. And then my sister-in-law, her name's Lauren. Lauren pushed her out of her chair. Now, again, I'm not going to copy this exactly as it is when I am writing my rough draft. These are just some basic details. And then number 3, once we were safe, we got to watch the mama and the cub. So the mama bear and the cub walked through the backyard. And I can add more details later, like that we watched, or that the dogs were barking, or however else I want it, whatever else I want to add, I can. But basically, this is what happened. My husband yelled, "Mom, close the door." Her chair was in the way. So my sister-in-law pushed her out of her chair so she could close the door. And then we watched as the mama and the cub walked through the backyard. So let me tell you, this instance was about 5 minutes. That's it. That's my seed story, a 5-minute story. So it doesn't have to be something grand and big as long as you have enough details to write in it. All right, friends, when you are done with your brainstorm, you are going to log on to Zoom and read it to me so I can make sure that you are on the right track. Happy writing. We'll see you later.